Are you thinking about moving to the Middle Tennessee area, but you don't necessarily want to be in town? You don't want the hustle and bustle or frankly the expense. What are some of the best places to live? Today we're going to go check out one of my favorite top suburbs of Nashville. Join me. See you on the other side. Living in Middle Tennessee is phenomenal for so many reasons. The great outdoors, the four seasons, the lower tax situation, great business environment, economics. There's so many great things about it, but Nashville itself has gotten, in the last couple of years, because of its prominence, actually a lot more expensive than many people expect. Now, if you're coming from one of the larger cities around the country, like even the top 50 cities, you're not going to be surprised. But many people are surprised at how expensive inner city Nashville can be. But what you don't know is there are amazing suburbs of Nashville. So you've got the easy access to get into Nashville. You've got the easy access for concerts and football games and soccer and all the great things to do inside of the city. You've got music everywhere and all kinds of music, so that's not something you need to worry about. What about looking at some of the top suburbs of Nashville? Today we're traveling to Mt Juliet, and I'm going to meet one of my business partners actually he's an expert in that area. Chris is an expert who can share with us the ins and outs of why he lives in and loves the Mt Juliet area right outside of Nashville. I have come to Mt Juliet and I'm here with my expert partner, Chris Long. Lives here in Mt Juliet and he can tell us a whole lot about this area. Tell me, Chris, why is it so many people love moving here?
Well, thanks, Susan, for coming over to Mt Juliet. And this is Mt Juliet's a bedroom community of Nashville. Really has grown in the last, say 10 years or so. The population has doubled, but it's proximity to the airport, proximity to Nashville, and prices. Right. So this is one of the areas where the traffic is not bad. You know, we're right here, Mt Juliet, up to the lake, south to Percy Priest Lake. But this commute into the airport and into Nashville is still pretty reasonable, right. 30, 35, 40 minutes.
And that's in bad drive time traffic.
Yeah, 40
right?
minutes probably in traffic. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's close to our two lakes. If somebody wants to have more of the lake life that a lot of people from other areas of the country want, looking for water life and not just the river.
Absolutely. And it's called the city between the lakes. So we've got Percy Priest. You cannot live on Percy Priest, but it's open for boating.
Right.
You can live on Old Hickory Lake up here to the north. You can find homes.
So they do allow docking here, but not off here.
But not on Percy Priest, yeah, because that is a water supply.
Gotcha.
So close to both, though. You know, if you live in the middle, you know, you're 10 or 15 minutes to either one.
Sure. So how long have you lived here?
I've been here 16, 17 years now.
So you have seen some changes because the massive growth in the last couple of years because of the expense of Nashville, and just so many people loving the idea of Middle Tennessee.
Yes, lots here. So where we are now, Providence, this is a big shopping area here. So lots of, it's a planned community, 10 neighborhoods. The 11th neighborhood that's not part of Providence, but kind of sits in the middle, is just being finished out now. You can go from apartments and townhomes all the way up to $700,000, $800,000 and live right here. So 10 years ago, 12 years ago, this was not here. There was nothing here. It was a farm. Right. Lots of growth here, but just lots of growth in general.
So I think one of the beauties is the fact that you don't have to live in Nashville to get the community. You have a community here, and you have the shopping. You know, we've seen some local tacos coming in, and some of the great restaurants. That is local and chain both, yes. And the shopping is here as well, right?
That's right. Yeah, right outside. We've got one, two. We're standing above one. We've got two, right down the sidewalk that are kind of local and chain both, and lots more coming. The growth here has just been pretty stellar. The train runs from First Avenue and Broad on the river there, out to Lebanon with stops in Donaldson, Hermitage, and Mt Juliet, and then out to Lebanon. So we've got 2 or 3, I think 3 each way in the morning and 3 each way in the evening commute.
And for somebody who wants to go into Nashville, say for a Titans game or for a Predators hockey game or things, you can ride the train to go in too, correct?
They do it on occasion. It's not, since it's a single track system, they don't run it constantly. But they do open it up for Titans games on occasion.
Right.
So yeah,
Right.
it's, you know, big events.
Super.
So,
And schools.
great schools. I'll always check on the schools, obviously, but
Exactly.
you know, we do have really good schools here. We have a brand new high school. We've got the new Green Hill High School, which just opened this past year. It's a huge high school. I'm not even sure what the capacity is. I think 2,500 to 3,000 students.
Wow.
So it's quite large.
Right.
Mount Juliet High School and Wilson Central High School are our three
Okay.
to cover.
So recreation, great schools, great family community.
Yep.
The shopping is here. Actually, this is
the big area, but up and down Mount Juliet Road, we're getting a new Christmas store, the Christmas shop, I think it's called.
Yeah,
It's in
yeah.
Pigeon Forge.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Well, so they're building I want to say it's 10 or 15,000 square feet,
Gee.
right in the middle of town.
Yeah.
So you've got boating, shopping, lots of parks. Charlie Daniels Park right up the street. We've got several large parks here in Mount
Let's
Juliet.
go over there. We're gonna
Yeah.
we're
We'll
gonna
definitely
visit.
go
We're
over
gonna
it,
go
yeah.
around through some of these great neighborhoods. Chris is gonna show me as if he was showing you some different price points of homes and things that you enjoy doing while you're in your family here.
We are in Providence Station in Mount Juliet, and behind me you'll see Courtyard Marriott. Obviously there's a couple hotels being built across the street, and we've got a dog bakery, Burger Republic, which is a great local burger restaurant. We've got Oscar's Tacos that just opened a couple weeks ago, and behind that white van over there you can see PDK Southern Kitchen. That's one of the restaurants of a local family that has a great Italian restaurant, several Italian restaurants in town. And right across the street over here is Providence, which is the large shopping area that I mentioned earlier. You can't see a whole lot of it right now, but lots around here, lots of shopping. There's hotels. We're right off of Interstate 40, and 2 or 3 minutes we can be on 40 heading to Nashville. So it's a great, convenient location.
So grocery stores are around here. Somebody who lives here is just a couple minutes from retail groceries.
Right across the street, Kroger and Publix both, and Aldi right over the interstate, over the ramp, and those are kind of our 3 big grocery stores here. And
Super.
then you've got also the neighborhoods of Providence are right across the street, back behind all the shopping. So
Well, for anybody who hadn't been to Oscar's Tacos, you gotta go.
yeah,
It's a good one.
we're excited to have them.
Super. Okay, let's jump in the car and let's go look at some houses.
All right, sounds good.
So one of the very first places Chris is going to take us is to an area called Providence. Now, if you hear of Mount Juliet, Providence just goes with it. It is an entire area, not just one place. It's an entire area full of shopping, restaurants, retail, both apartments, which is a great lifestyle community. And they've got outdoor volleyball leagues, pools, but you also got Target, JCPenney, the restaurants. Then you have 10 entirely different residential communities of all different price points, all different amenities, and all built out within different time periods. So there is something for everyone within this Providence community, which is just here in Mount Juliet. So different sections of homes, were they built by different builders?
They had certain builders that they brought in, so they're kind of built throughout, and then they changed. We're gonna go right here. They changed them out. So straight ahead is the community pool. So when you pay your HOA dues in Providence, for Providence, to live in this area, you get a membership to the pool. So it's a great resort style pool.
It's beautiful.
They've got the greenway trail throughout the community. So Bradford Park was actually the first community to be built, and the smallest of the homes, and also the cheapest at the time, which obviously with the market we have here, it's gone up considerably. But these right now are in the 300 to 350 range, a little bit tighter lots, but anywhere from 1,400 to 2,000 square feet on average. You do have some backyard, not a ton, but a lot of these have probably 0.2 of an acre.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell from the trees that it's a more mature neighborhood now.
Which is great.
Yeah, it is. This is, if you have 6 cars or an RV or something like that, this is not the neighborhood because it does get a little bit tight, but there are sidewalks. You're definitely going to get to know your neighbors. And here, as is pretty much the case anywhere in Nashville,
Sure.
Tennessee in general, because everybody's so friendly.
You know, and that is something I keep hearing people talk about from other areas, how much Nashville really is friendly. You do know your neighbors, and you watch out for each other, which I don't think can be said enough.
No, I'll tell you a funny story. When we moved here from the East Coast, my kids were 10, 8, and 5, I believe it is. After a couple weeks of being here, I would ask them, I was like, hey, do you want to go to the grocery with me? And they'd say no, because we're going to be there an hour, because you're going to meet somebody and we're going to have to wait for you while you stand there and talk to them. And that really is the case here. I tell people that you're going to make your next best friend probably in a restaurant or the grocery store. And so this is the newest community called Beard Farms. Now this is not one of the Providence HOA communities. This is it's right in the midst of the Providence neighborhoods, but not part of it. So they have their own pool here, built by the Jones Company, and I believe Drees was the other builder. They finished up their homes quite a while ago, but they are still building here. There's nothing available right now. I believe they said they will have more homes available in November.
So they're having the same issues. What they do is different phases open up, they sell them out.
Yeah.
I imagine they're, like all the other builders, are afraid to name a price right now because of...
Yep, they're not naming
increases.
a price, and they're also, I've had a couple builders with new construction that I've done where they'll only release 3 homes at a time.
Yeah.
And once they sell those 3, they'll wait until they get pricing for the next 3.
Right.
And so, sometimes it's a couple weeks, sometimes it's a month or more.
Are they putting them on the market before they've even gotten them started, or are they waiting till a certain point now?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
Some of them are waiting. I've actually had a couple builders also. We went in and they basically sold them like a resale house. It was best and final, even though it was new construction. The house were done, but you just came in and competed.
Wow. I tell you what, that's why now, almost more than ever, you really have to have somebody who knows the area intimately to know exactly what each different builder is doing.
Yeah, and the other thing is, you've got to be here, because I'm almost afraid to leave for the weekend, because the houses, if they come on the market, you've got to go see them today, because they're gone.
Right.
As you know, in Williamson County, Davidson County, the same way.
So if somebody sees something even online, or that you've sent them as a search, they need to pick up the phone and say, I need you to go see that, and you will FaceTime show it to them, because they don't have the opportunity to wait to get here a couple of days.
Well, and just like, I know you've been doing the same thing. I think my last 5 closings have all been FaceTime purchases.
Yep.
So the people, the buyers were not even in town, and I've got one right now that has not even seen their house in person.
That is
they close
so
next
scary,
week.
isn't it?
It is a little scary, but
I've had that many times, and thankfully they've been overjoyed.
Yeah. Fortunately, the ones that have closed have been really happy, but it's kind of the state of the market right now.
Yeah. So these are much larger lots.
They are. These are larger lots, larger homes, and they are, some are 3-car garage, some 2-car, as you can see. But they're probably, right now, the new builds are up in the mid-6s, I believe. Maybe you probably start around 6 or just under 6, but by the time you add some options. Now that's another thing that I don't know if you're seeing on your side of town. A lot of the builders, they call them a live now community, or different names, but basically you have no options. They pick the packages, they pick the backsplash, the countertop, the carpet, the flooring, and if you want something different, then you just pick a different lot. So it's kind of all preset.
So yeah. So you can call it semi-custom, maybe, but it's getting less and less custom as the builder gets to have a little bit more control and command of what's going on.
And of course, I think COVID had a part in some of that, because they couldn't get certain materials, so they went with what they had. It goes out. There were 2 townhome communities here, 1 garage, 1 non-garage, and then over here on the right is kind of its own animal, if you will, is a Del Webb community, which was a 55 and over. So all the amenities that Providence has, they have their own. You take you still have all the walking trails, and you're right near the shopping and everything. But it's a gated community. Like I said, 55 and overs. They have villas. They have single family, pool, tennis courts, kayaking, paddle
fun.
boats. You know,
I'm often asked, because I have so many people whose children moved here and grandchildren, and people want to move here to be close to those grandchildren. So that's good to know. We'll at some point come back through.
yes, we'll come. We definitely. I think Del Webb could be its own video, but just to give you a quick little overview, this is the lake for the Del Webb community fishing.
Very pretty.
We've got a beautiful entrance up here, and like I said, lots of amenities there.
Outdoor life here is big.
Yes, it is. You're right. Lots of parks, lots of hiking.
All the
mountain
good food, we got to keep people eating.
Yeah, you
got to keep them moving too.
You got to keep it moving. But yeah, you can see it's. They've done a really nice job with landscaping and pools. And,
so that's a pretty carefree lifestyle.
it is. That's the kind of place, it's lock and go if you want to. Okay, so we are on Golden Bear Gateway right now, so just north of 40, and we're coming up to the new Amazon distribution center that was just built. I believe they have 4 of these around the country. Mt Juliet landed this a couple of years ago, and it's a pretty impressive building. And I was under the impression that our other distribution center was going to close, but this one is not. So this is a small piece distribution center, and the other one is more of a large package distribution center. But I'll show the building as we go by. But this is 3.8 million square feet on, I believe it's 5 levels, and it was pretty impressive to watch being built.
Wow.
So
how many are expected for new employment here?
I'm not sure new employment, but the whole employment when they originally started was 1,200, and I believe they've upped that to, they expect to hire 3,000 people here. And then of course we do have Amazon at the Nashville yards that I think that's 5,000 or 6,000.
Right.
And then we have the other distribution center in Mt Juliet.
So Mt Juliet is definitely a growing place that's really kind of at the beginnings of its explosion, do you think?
It really is, and it's still affordable. We still have, I know where you are, a house that may sell for $400,000, but the land is worth $250,000. You're just going to tear it down.
That's happening a lot with an older 50s, 60s ranch home on maybe an acre. In a good close-in location. It's a questionable, is this a house to remodel, or is this a house that really, because it's value of the dirt, you just tear it down and build a new house? But of course at $400,000 price point, that's going to be about a $2 million house.
Yeah.
So for here, if someone said, I want to find an acre or so and build, is it findable?
It is. There's not readily available all the time, but they do come on the market, and as people decide to sell their land and divide it up, we do have no restrictions on the 5-acre thing like Williamson County has.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So you'll see acre lots come on, and you're probably going to pay $120, $130. If it's close to the water, or water view, you're probably going to pay $175 to $190.
And are they on septic or sewer, or it all depends on where it is?
It really depends on where it is.
Neat.
Yeah, the Amenity Center, they did a resort-style pool. They've got an area for cookouts, fireplace outside, a great workout center. Many workout centers you see are not really all that stellar for actually using.
Right.
Theirs actually stays pretty busy. Very reasonable HOA. I want to say it's around $70, $75. So you can see the houses here also are different. Mt Juliet now for new homes require either brick or stone. These were built, put in place before that went into effect. So you'll see a mix of hardy board, brick, stone.
Much larger lots.
Much larger lots here. So there's 3 different areas to this community. And I'm going to get this wrong, but it's like a garden, the villas, meadows.
And those really reflect differences in home site sizes.
Yes, exactly. They go from, I think, 52 feet wide to 90 feet.
Uh-huh.
So you see a lot of price variance here. So it may go from $375 to $750, but that's because of the lot size. So the 750
Right.
house is obviously the larger lots. But
Very
there's some-
different. It's not a cookie cutter at all.
No, you definitely have choices here on the facades and some really beautiful homes. They did some that have the motor courtyards where you drive under and then you kind of have that parking area around back.
So truly they've done a great job here with building more lifestyle communities again. You know, you've got the sidewalks, the community center, workout places, kind of a live play community is what they're calling it, and a lot of the things with the newer.
Yeah, definitely live, work, play community, and we are right next to Mt Juliet High School, so this would be a walking community for students living here. And then so there's 3 communities right near Mt Juliet High School. You've got Jackson Hills on the right side. Left side of the high school is Stone Hollow, and then Tuscan Garden is right across the street. So gosh, probably, I don't even know how many houses would be, probably when they're all said and done, a couple thousand homes right within walking distance. And walking distance for the middle and elementary as well.
Are you finding what I'm finding in some of these larger communities that people may start off in one of the smaller homes? They love the community. They don't want to leave the community. It's an Amazon truck. Don't want to leave the community, so they buy a larger house in the community, and then as the family grows, they're going back down it, but they're staying in the same community.
Absolutely. There's a lot of people who wait for homes to come available here in Jackson Hills and just move within the community. Because it's a great location. You're right on Golden Bear Gateway, which is the second of, there's 3 exits for Mt Juliet. You got Mt Juliet Road, Golden Bear Gateway, and 109.
So that's 3 exits off the I-40
Off
east.
I-40,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and the average price in Mt Juliet, I mean, you're probably looking in the mid-4s, realistically low to mid-4s on average, and then we've got, you know, lake properties up to probably $2.5 million.
Soccer fields, walking trails, swimming pools, pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, it's and this is the oldest community right around here, probably built in 2006. So the front,
That's old.
Yeah, it is
2006.
kind of old, I guess. And they're actually still building here in the back. So this is obviously the first Main Street. A little bit tighter lots here, but they got a little bit bigger, but the houses got larger towards the back.
But there's still, if somebody wants to buy a lot, they're really not buying it in a community like this. They're buying outside of the community. Maybe someone has 6, 7, 8 acres and they just want to sell off a little piece of it.
Yeah, maybe they rezone 5 of it and they get 5 1-acre lots.
Okay.
And that is, you know, we can certainly find it. It may take a little bit longer, but they're available.
And you have good building contacts too, so if somebody needs to do that or renovate. You know,
Absolutely.
I think you're a great resource of finding people within this area who can come in and put in hardwood floors or redo kitchens, that type of thing.
Yes, absolutely. We do a lot of that.
That's the first sign we've seen in a 45-minute drive.
I think you're right. The first, and it's probably sold.
It's probably sold. You probably sold it. What are we talking about?
Probably sold it yesterday.
So I'm back in my home in Brentwood. But what do you think? Is Mt Juliet a place that might be for you and your family? Hey, we have lots of great suburbs in and around the Nashville area. 8 is what I consider some of the top suburbs. So if that's not for you, there's other places. I'm going to continue to explore other areas for you. So be sure to go ahead and subscribe to this channel, like this video so that the YouTube algorithm knows that it's of value to people. And be sure to follow up. Watch what's next. More importantly, go ahead, do what everybody's doing. Text, email, call me. We can talk through exactly what you want to find the right community for you, and then you can have your own private tours. This is Susan Thetford. Until next week or next time, be blessed.